So here we are in the studio. I'm going to try to do a painting. Got my Sennelier palette here. Some very nice paints, the Sennelier brand. I've got a bucket of water, cleaned the brushes, and I got a few brushes here. This is a flat, a round, and a rigger. I may have there's a smaller rigger here as well. So we'll see what we can do. Going to try just something very loose. Put some water on the paper in a rather haphazard manner here. I'm sorry for the glare. Not sure there's much I can do about that. No. Try moving my light, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. Yeah, setup's not the best. I got the camera on a tripod in front of my desk, and the painting itself, the board is on a bit of a slope, so paint is going to run. But I've got the camera on my right hand side, and it's kind of gets in my way a little bit. So I usually have my palette, my water and everything on the right hand side, but now I've got it on the left, so I'm going to be doing some funny things here compared to the usual. Let's throw some paint in here, and we'll just start with some yellow here. I'm just going to throw it on. Not really too worried about what it's doing or where it's going. Also have a little spray bottle that I'll probably use. And you'll get some other colors going here. It's kind of earth tony colors. A little bit too much water there. You can see the paint rather is flowing a little bit. We'll even throw in some green here, see what happens. Ooh, that's pretty dark. Didn't clean my brush off very well there. This paper I'm using is not a very good quality paper either. You can probably see where this is going. Just going to spray some water on there. See the paint start flowing down the page a little bit. going to, this is essentially what you would call a vignette. It doesn't, there's no sides really to the paper. You just let everything flow, and paintings in the middle, and it's going to be like white around the edge of the paper. So we'll just leave that like that. Throw in a bit of Payne's gray here. Can lift out some paint, although it doesn't work too well on this cheaper paper. So we could just let that dry off. I'm just picking up some of the paint that's running to the bottom here. And we'll just let that do its thing for a little while. I'm going to dry it with a hair dryer because we don't want to be sitting here waiting for you don't want to be watching paint dry, so to speak. So let's speed things up a little bit. Close your ears because this is going to be noisy. Plug the hair dryer in. Let's see if we can just scrape in some a tree trunk here maybe. Oh yeah, there you go. I actually have a plastic card somewhere for doing that. Let's see if I can find it. Since Michelle organized me, I don't know where it is. Okay, so I can't find it, so it's going to be fingernails only. You can see how that works on these. What could be trees. We didn't plan that. Well, I did. I guess I did. I knew it was going to be trees there. But it's so easy to do like that. So I'm going to use the hair dryer. I just stole this from my wife, Pro Baby hair dryer. I think it's her travel hair dryer. I'm going to give it a little bit of a dry. So sorry for the noise. So what you have to be careful with, unless you want to do it on purpose, is you have to be careful not to, when the paint is drying, if it's quite wet and starting to dry, there's a point in time where if you add some more paint which is too wet, it will cause what is called a back run or a blossom. Now sometimes you want that to happen because it can add texture. And maybe on a video I'll show you how to do that, but we're not doing that right now. See how wet it is by just touching with the back of your hand. Still pretty damp. So what I'm going to try to do next, and believe me, I'm no expert at this, is I'm just mimicking what I've seen in tutorials. We'll add a few more things in here. We'll pick out some detail if we can and add that in. That's pretty good now. You can see that the paper begins to buckle from the water. Sometimes I'll tape it down everywhere. Maybe I'll add some more tape on there just to keep it in one place here. Quite often I'll mask off an area and say This is 5.5" by 8.5" paper. If I want to do a 5x7 painting, then I would could mask it off, and then the painting would go to the very edge of the paper. So let me just show you what happens here when you throw in a you see, when you put a frame around, no, it's actually a mat, and things start to pop a little bit. And what can we do with this? Well, we got some trees over here. We could, I'm going to take the rigger brush. We could add in some darker color, perhaps where there's some shade, maybe at the bottom. And yeah, it's okay to use your finger. Smudge things out a little bit. Maybe that, you want some shading along this side here. It's usually pretty dark underneath the base of trees. Now, this paper is, as I said before, it's not really the best paper to be using. And I'm just going to flick up a few things here. Brush is too wet. Add some darks in on this side of this tree. It's pretty awkward. I'm really in the wrong place position wise. But that's okay. We're just playing around. How about we try to put we'll try to turn this into a tree, and we'll add a trunk in here. Could have some branches coming out even at the top. Pretty simple. I'm actually using a blue along the base here. Don't particularly like what I've done there, but have to kind of live with it now. Let me see if I can make that run a little bit. So I know what I don't want is a hard line there. Just want that kind of to run down. Blend a little bit. Not too bad. So we could take that blue and add some grasses in here. It's too wet. You could think of these white areas as being maybe the tops of rocks. So we could maybe put something darker underneath that rock there. We could add some additional textures. How about we'll take a little bit of blue, ultramarine blue, some Hooker's green, see what we come up with. A bluish green, and we could add some little grasses and so on, like that. You know, you could go crazy and you could add a big tree in here somewhere, but I think we'll just keep it pretty simple. Anyway, you get the idea. We could probably turn this part of that tree there, maybe. It doesn't look quite right to me. Let's see if there's anything we can do there. I'm not sure. You know, you can just do it's so easy. You can pretty well do anything you want, you know. You just add some texture in there. You can. Now, I'm not very good at this technique, but some people really like it, and that's splattering. I don't know why I have so much trouble with it. What can we use? Try a little bit of indigo. See what happens. Not getting anything. I either get big blobs or I get nothing. There we go. And the wall behind my desk here ends up covered in paint splatters. So, you know, I think it's not the greatest. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. Sign it a little bit. I'm going to just move that around a little bit. Don't particularly like that blob there. There we go. Somewhere I probably have a pen, but oh, there they are. Very often just sign with a fine liner. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that little demo.